Okay, let's dive into this explainer. If you've ever felt like your own mind is kind of working against you, spinning in these exhausting circles that you just can't seem to stop, I want you to know you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking some deeply insightful source material that focuses on how to genuinely ease the heavy burden of OCD, or obsessive-compulsive disorder. We're going to break down a couple of incredibly comforting, super practical strategies together. So go ahead and settle in, take a deep, slow breath, and let's explore this together. What if something bad happens? Wow, have you ever had a thought exactly like that just pop into your head out of nowhere and completely refuse to leave? It is absolutely exhausting. We're tackling this question right up front because it perfectly captures what that internal struggle actually feels like. This endless loop of worry, it can literally hijack your daily focus. It pulls you away from what you actually want to be doing and traps you in the cycle of fear. And let's be honest, that is a really heavy weight for anyone to carry around all day. But there is a way through. And that is exactly what our source material offers us today. We are going to focus entirely on solutions. We'll be walking through two highly actionable, extremely practical keys to help you find some much needed peace and ease those overwhelming symptoms. And the best part? These aren't just abstract psychological theories. They are real tools that you can start using today. Section 1, the loop of anxiety. First, we need to map out what's happening in the mind. Before we get to the keys themselves, we really need to understand the mechanics of what's going on. We've got to map out the territory before we can navigate our way out of it, right? So our source defines obsessive-compulsive disorder, or obsessive-compulsive neurosis, as a condition where excessive worry and anxiety fill the mind, making it difficult to focus on daily tasks. It's so important to read this clearly and internalize it, because it validates your struggle. When you're dealing with this, it's not some lack of willpower. Not at all. It is a very real mental trap, where worry just consumes all of your mental bandwidth. Key 1. Constructive thinking. Let's see how a simple shift can actually rewire the brain. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we need to shift away from. The source uses this fascinating Japanese concept called Mōsō, which translates to delusions or runaway thoughts. Just look at the definition: endless loops of worry with no end goal that breed anxiety and fear. The critical flaw of Mōsō isn't just that the thoughts are negative, it's that they have absolutely zero end goal. They are basically a treadmill for your mind. You run, you get totally exhausted, but you never actually arrive anywhere. Now, in direct contrast to that endless treadmill, we have Kensetsuteki Shikō, which means constructive thoughts. These are thoughts that have a clear goal and focus on concrete actions. This right here, this is your escape route. While runaway thoughts keep you spinning, constructive thoughts demand action. They take all that nervous mental energy and give it a destination. It effectively shuts down that endless loop by demanding a practical, real-world outcome. To bring this down to earth, let's look at an everyday scenario. Constructive thoughts actively build a solution by asking, how can I achieve X? So, for example, instead of vaguely panicking and worrying about an upcoming trip going wrong, a constructive thought is planning exactly how to book the flight and the hotel. It takes the anxiety of the unknown and channels it into a step-by-step, actionable plan. Basically, you're giving your brain a job it can actually finish. Shifting your internal questions. Let's talk about how to change the narrative. So how do we actually make this transition in the moment when anxiety suddenly strikes? Well, it boils down to two straightforward steps. Step 1, become aware and catch yourself when you're trapped in that goalless worry, that Mōsō. Awareness is absolutely the necessary precursor to changing any mental habit. You can't fix what you don't notice, right? Step 2, once you catch it, intentionally change your phrasing. You literally have to consciously flip the switch in your own internal dialogue. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific bilingual nuance here. It's all about changing your vocabulary from what should I do, which in Japanese is doshio, to how can I solve this, which is dosureba. Just asking what should I do feels kind of helpless, doesn't it? It invites panic. But the exact moment you ask, how can I solve this, you instantly shift your brain from a state of passive anxiety right into an active, constructive problem-solving mode. Key 2, radical self-acceptance. Let's shift our focus to the self. Having given the mind a new way to process thoughts, we're now shifting our focus away from the mechanics of the mind and looking directly at your relationship with yourself. And our source material addresses this with such deep, genuine empathy.
You see, those who struggle with OCD often fall into a really painful habit of harshly criticizing or rejecting themselves. But rejecting yourself actually forces you to seek external validation to fill that void. When you're constantly looking to the outside world to prove that you're okay, you become highly sensitive and completely overreactive to your surroundings. The outside world basically turns into a minefield of potential triggers.
But here is the profound cause and effect relationship that offers us so much hope. Accepting yourself stops the overreaction and it weakens OCD symptoms. It's truly that powerful. When you finally stop fighting yourself and just accept who you are, you naturally calm your inner anxiety. You suddenly don't need the external world to be absolutely perfect for you to feel safe because you've created that safety within yourself. The OCD symptoms literally lose their fuel. The reframing technique. Let's look at how to build this habit daily.
Now, of course, simply deciding to accept yourself is way easier said than done, right? It takes practice. So our source introduces this brilliant, super practical habit-building technique to help foster self-acceptance. The foundation is to write down positive traits and things you like about yourself every single day. And the tools to do this are incredibly accessible. You can keep a physical journal, you can just tap away in your smartphone's memo app, or, and I love this one, you can even create a private messaging group where you are the only member and just text yourself a daily compliment. I highly encourage you to pick whichever tool feels the absolute easiest and most comforting to you right now.
But what if you're struggling to actually find those positive traits? Well, that is exactly where reframing comes in. Reframing is just taking a negative trait and recognizing its positive counterpart. For instance, the source points out that if you think you're short-tempered, you can reframe that exactly as being emotionally expressive. You see, you aren't lying to yourself. You are literally just choosing to look at the flip side of the exact same coin. Let's see how this builds with a second example from the text. If you constantly criticize yourself for being timid or weak-willed, reframe it. The flip side of that trait is being cautious and careful. It just beautifully reinforces this wonderful duality that every single trait you possess has two sides. And the best part? You get to choose which side you focus on and accept. Your next steps. Let's wrap up everything we've learned.
We have covered a lot of ground today, mapping out a real journey from being trapped in those anxious loops to actually taking control through constructive thinking and finally embracing radical self-acceptance. So the crucial point is this. First, shift your mindset from endless worry to constructive action by simply asking, how can I solve this? Second, actively practice self-acceptance so you can stop overreacting to your surroundings and quietly diffuse your inner anxiety. The source material leaves us with this final, truly empowering prompt, and I want to pass it directly to you right now. Will you create your own reframing worksheet today? Will you just take out a blank piece of paper, write down a trait that's been bothering you, and find its positive counterpart? You have the tools now to start easing that loop, and it all begins with that one simple constructive action. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. You've got this.